Good morning, everybody. This is the Fat Ball Guy, and I want to talk a little bit about, since it's December and every off season, as I call it, the next few months to me is an off season for me. You have to try to find a way to get better. I mean, anybody that's out there that's betting horses a couple days a week, if you're not taking November, December, January, and trying to figure out, just like a baseball player would over the winter, how can I get better next year? What can I do better next year? Look at your stats, look what you did right, look what you did wrong, and try to zero in on the horses that you're successful in betting, and the horses and the racetracks and the types of wagers that you're not successful betting. When I look at my wagers over the last several years, my strength is obvious: straight wagers, pick fours, pick fives, and certain pick threes. I'm not good at exactas and trifectas and superfectas, and that's why, for the most part, I've stopped betting them. The only way I'll bet them is if I'm with a group of guys at the racetrack and they all just want to throw up 10 or 20 bucks and bet a superfecta. That's pretty much the only way that I ever bet a superfecta these days. Rolling doubles on big days, I think, are great wagers, but on normal days, sometimes it's such short fields, it's tough to hit. So how do you make money, or at least have a chance when you go to the racetrack? And the way I look at it is, you have to know what your strength is. You have to study yourself, do a lot of self-scouting, as we call it. My brother calls it that, my dad calls it that, I call it that. It's self-scouting. You have to be able to look at yourself, look at your own team, and act like you're somebody else and say, okay, here's the wagers I made all week or all month. What did I do right? What did I do wrong? Well, I think what a lot of people do wrong, and I'm guilty of it sometimes too, is when you feel a horse and you just know that this horse is going to win, and you don't fire enough on him. I had one the other day where it's my off season. I only had a couple $100 in my account. I didn't want to, blow the money because the weekend's coming and this and that. But I felt in my heart that this horse was going to win. He was 4.5 to 1. So what did I do? I bet 20 to win in place on him, just to have something to watch. Yeah, so I win $200 or whatever. But if I would have just said, you know what, I'm convinced this horse is going to win. I'm here to make money, and if I would have bet my $200 on him, I'm up a couple $1,000. Now I got money for the whole winter just to goof around and have some fun. And I think that's what a lot of people do. They get to the racetrack and they'll look at their money and say, well, I really like this one horse, but you got $100 in your pocket and you bet $10 on him. Well, then 5 races later, you're down $80 and you bet $15 or $20 on a horse you didn't even really like that much, just because you're losing, you want to get your money back. That's terrible money management. And over the course of the people that like to bet over the long haul, you just can't bet like that. You have to have a plan. You have to have your 7 or 8 plays that day, or 4 or 5 plays, or however much action you want. And you got to zero in on those horses you like. And when your horses win, you got to score enough that it can overcome when you're wrong. I think a lot of people forget that this is a lot like baseball, that, if you're a 300 hitter in this game, you're not a bad player. If you're a 400 hitter in this game, you're really good. And when you hit those 4 races, you should win. When you lose the 6 or 7 races, that should not overcome what you're winning on your 3 or 4 times you're right. Now, if you go to the racetrack and you're right 1 out of 10 and 1 out of 9 every day, you probably need help, or you should stop going, one of the two. Get help from any number of handicappers, including myself, that put out sheets. Some are free, some are not, some are a couple bucks. I think it's hilarious that I see people on Twitter all the time that'll say, well, I'm not going to pay $10 for that. But yet you'll pay $20 to park, and you'll pay $7 to get in, and you'll pay $7 for a daily racing form, and then you'll walk to the concession stand and pay $6.50 for a beer and $3 for a hot dog and popcorn. But yet you won't pay $10 for a sheet from somebody you trust that's going to give you a chance. They, just like myself, anybody out there, you may not win every day, but we're putting a lot of time and effort into this, and hopefully if you're spending your hard-earned money, you're putting time and effort in. I compare horse racing to golf. I really believe that A lot of people golf. I golf. I stink at golf. But I'm not out on the golf course betting hundreds of dollars against guys when I know I stink. I'm out there just to have a good time, and if I donate $35 to the golf course, I don't care. But for some reason, people think that they can play golf once a month, once every 2 weeks, and go out and shoot 80. And then if they don't shoot 80, they get mad. They're throwing clubs. They're all pissed off at each other. I just shake my head at those guys. I shoot 100 and I come home happy because I know I stink. And if you don't know you stink, then what fun is it? I mean, you're not going to beat the game if you don't practice and if you don't prepare. You know, you can't wake up at 6:30 in the morning, get to the golf course, stretch for a minute and a half, and go out and shoot 80. It's not going to happen. It's the same way with horses. You know, guys will call me on Friday afternoon, hey, I'm going to the track tomorrow. Can you help me? And I'll say, do you have a form? No. Have you looked at anything? No. Well, how are you going to win? You can't win doing that. There's no way you can win doing that. You may get lucky and cash a ticket here and there, but if your goal over the course of a weekend is I've got $200 in my account, is to have 200 or semi close to that and have a weekend full of fun betting horses, and that's what you like to do, okay. Well, then on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, you need to get ready. You need to study. You need to watch replays. You need to get on Twitter or get on the internet, get feedback from other people. You know, if it's getting a subscription from me or getting one from one of the other guys, you know, get some help. Hell, I get stuff, and I do this all the time. I mean, 5 days a week, I am looking at a racing forum, trying to find a wager that I can win. And this is my off season. But as a lot of people know, I bet on a horse yesterday. I mean, I only made 2 bets yesterday, and this weekend I only might make 2 or 3 bets. But it's my off season. But those 2 or 3 bets I'm making, I'm trying to win. I'm not just doing it just to watch. You know, I got a couple hundred in my account. I'm hoping by Christmas I have 1,000 in my account, and I got a free Christmas. I mean, that's the goal. If you don't have a goal, what are you doing it for? So I'm just trying to help out some people here to give you a focus that if you're really going to be serious next year about betting horses, whether you buy my stuff or somebody else's, let's take it serious. Let's do our homework. Let's study. Get with me. Throw some ideas off of me. Bounce some different horses. I got about 4 or 5 guys that do that religiously every weekend. Hey, what do you think of this horse? What do you think of that horse? You know, this is who I like. Who do you like? You know, stuff like that. Do that with myself or with a buddy of yours or something, and start to get a plan of attack when you walk into that racetrack. You should never walk into a racetrack or turn on TVG or HRTV, open that computer, get into your account, and not have a plan. If you don't have a plan, you can't win. You have to have a plan. Whether it's I'm going to bet these pick 3s or this one pick 4, I'm going to bet straight on these 2 horses, or I'm going to bet 20 to win on these 10 horses. Have a plan. That's the main thing from today. When you walk in, when you sit down, you've got to have a plan. Be prepared. It's the only way to have fun. You know, some people say, and I had a guy say this, a good friend of mine, it almost cost him his marriage. You know, he was asked, what's your favorite thing to do in life? And he said, go to the racetrack and win money. And that's great. And then they said, well, besides that, what's your second favorite thing to do? And he sat there for a second, he looked up and he said, go to the racetrack and lose money. Well, I don't agree with him on that. I mean, it's fun to go to the racetrack. It's fun to bet, but it's not fun losing. I mean, I don't know how many guys can lose $20,000, $30,000 a year and have fun. That, to me, that's not fun. Now, if you bet all year and you break even, that's fun. You know, hey, if you went golfing and you came home and didn't spend any money, that'd be fun. If you go to the movies and come home and you didn't spend any money, or you go eat and you didn't spend any money, yeah, that's fun. So if you can break even, I understand, that's fun. But you don't want to lose and then be out and have your kids mad at you and your wife mad at you. You know, just prepare. Prepare yourself to go. Try to prepare with a plan. If you want help, more than happy to try to help you. I have plans. Guys that I go with have a plan. You know, just make sure before you walk into that racetrack you have a plan. That's my help for today.